Hi, I'm Ruth Francis and welcome to Liddon Hill for the penultimate round of the competition car insurance Ford Fiesta Championship Class C. Now over to Richard for the current points standing.
Thanks, Ruth. David Grady in with a shout of winning the championship today. Ed and Harry Cockle second and third from Matthew PARR. Matt Foley in fifth place and Nick Bowers currently in sixth. Seventh position is Ash Sutton from Andrew Wilmot. Then it's Lee Napolitano and Mike Bushell. Jason Cooper and David Abbott round off the top 12. David Abbott also leading the Veterans Cup for drivers over 42 years of age. Second position in that class is Ian Wilson from Graham Field. And both of those drivers here, along, of course, with David Abbott racing at Liddon Hill this weekend. Here's the grid. David Grady on pole with Ed Cockle next to him. Row 2, Matt PARR and Andrew Wilmot. Then it's Nick Bowers and Harry Cockle back in sixth position. On to the fourth row of the grid, John Langridge. Then it's David Abbott and Al Daly. Ian Wilson is next with Joanne Eason and Graham Field on row 6. Row 7 is completed by Cliff Pellin, a welcome returnee to the championship. Cars coming onto the grid, and Liddon, a fantastic place to come and watch your motor racing. The circuit's just a mile long, and if you've not been before, I urge you to make the trip down to, it's just near Dover, and you can see most of the circuit from wherever you are on track. David Grady looking to try and wrap things up, as I've mentioned this weekend. He sits in that light blue car on pole position, and how is this race going to pan out for him? A 20-minute race, that should equate to well over 20 laps here, and away they go. But a great start from Ed Cockle, who goes into lead position. Harry Cockle's on the outside of David Grady, with Matthew PARR on the inside, who goes into second position. Harry Cockle's going up into third. There's Graham Field in the orange 13 car. Now ahead of him, we'll talk about the car ahead of him in just a moment, because we'll focus on the leaders coming down the Dover slope for the first time. Into the Devil's Elbow, Cockle leads. It's PARR in second position, then David Grady in fourth. Ahead of David Grady's Harry Cockle in the blue car with the orange stripe on the top, and a wide line for Harry Cockle there. Is that going to leave the door open for Grady? Nick Bowers down behind him. There's John Langridge, car number 7, chasing the 3 silver car of David Abbott. David, as we mentioned, leading the Veterans Championship through at the end of lap 1, and it's Grady in fourth position. On to lap 2, into along Canterbury Straight, into Pilgrims, and then it's round into Chesson's Drift. Armco on the inside, not something you want to hit. Neither the tyre barriers on the outside. Harry Cockle here very much on the offensive and looking to try and get into that second position, making the move down the inside into Devil's Elbow. A little bit of a lock up on the curve, and he's touched Matthew PARR. They've taken each other out. Through on the inside goes David Grady, a gift of a second place. Here's a replay of what happened. Cockle up over the curves, perhaps wasn't room for him, and I think he realised too late. Turns into PARR. PARR's on full lock, trying to get the car back. They both get on the gas, get back on the gas. I don't think they've lost too much time, but you can see now David Grady, the white and blue car with the orange mirrors, up into second place. Matt PARR still in third on the inside line. Harry Cockle in fourth on the outside. Then it's Nick Bowers. Goodness me, well, it all goes off, doesn't it? We've got Al Daly in car number 5, the blue and yellow car, chasing down. And here's the onboard view from Al Daly. In front of him is Andrew Wilmot and Nick Bowers. Back onto the Canterbury Straight, over the start-finish line. It's a very popular venue, this, with these drivers. It's a short lap means you don't need too many cars in terms of club racing to fill up the grid. And, of course, the entry levels of the competition car insurance for Fiesta Championship, very healthy once again, even though we're in the closing stages of the season, and that's good to see. Past the little oval section you saw there on the right hand side, into Devil's Elbow again. Al Daly trying to get on terms with Nick Bowers in front of him. Nick Bowers in the green car, Andrew Wilmot in the blue 21. So Wilmot just trying to eke his way up towards the top 6 of this race, and the leaders are through. 4th, 5th position is Nick Bowers, 6th position Andrew Wilmot at the moment. Down into Paddock Bend, a lot of money been spent on Liddon Circuit by the Duran family who own it. The Duran family, of course, well known in rallycross circles, and Liddon very much the home of rallycross in the UK. And if you've not been for a few years, as I say, the facilities are very, very good. The paddock, very nicely tarmacked. It's a wonderful place to come down to as we look at the battle for third position coming into the Devil's Elbow, which is where it went slightly wrong for them when they were dicing for second position. And now we've got a change behind. Andrew Wilmot looking to the outside of Nick Bowers, but he can't quite do it. David Grady away at the moment. Harry Cockle, this is the onboard view from fourth position. You can see his brother Ed Cockle way away in front at the moment in the lead. And this is the fourth position car, all over the curbs as he comes down into Paddock Bend along the straight. So Canterbury Straight, probably three really long straights. Dover Slope's got a little bit of a curb to it, which is where they're coming into now. And Matt Parr taking that wide line out of Chesson's Drift onto Dover Slope. He's got to be mindful about perhaps going defensive as they come down into the Devil's Elbow. Just a reminder on championship positions, David Grady leads with 197 points. Ed Cockle is second on 143. And Harry Cockle, the man we're on board with at the moment, third in the championship on 134. And Matt Parr, who we're looking at, is in fourth place in the championship with 125. So very much the big guns at the front of this particular race as the cars come around paddock once again. You can see that Ed Cockle is getting away with this, and this is a great performance from Ed Cockle so far. David Grady in second position. The lap times around here, the qualifying laps, in the 48 second bracket, which equates to 75 miles an hour. When you consider the tight nature of Devil's Elbow where they're coming down to now, the climb up to North Bend, Paddock Bend, which is a pretty awesome corner as well, very competitive times, and bang for buck, which is a little bit of a cliche, I know, but the bang for buck you get in this championship is absolutely superb. So Matt Parr having lost that third position, Harry Cockle now up into third, and Parr is coming under pressure from Andrew Wilmot. So Wilmot's on a little bit of a charge. He's got away from Nick Bowers. Down into Paddock Bend they go, and he's going to look at the inside line here. Now has Matt Parr got a problem because he's dropped well back from Cockle at the moment. We've got the Cockle brothers first and third in the race, second and third in the championship, and Matt Parr at the moment hanging on to fourth position. Let's have a look and see whether Andrew Wilmot's going to be able to make it up into fourth. Go the wipers here, a few clouds around on the horizon, not sure if that. Wilmot having a good go on the outside line there. He's all over the back of Parr at the moment, goes to the outside line. Parr runs wide, loses momentum, extra momentum up the hill for Andrew Wilmot, who's into fourth position. Great manoeuvre there, and that's a real classic move here at Lyddon Circuit. You really do really are seeing some great racing here from Andrew Wilmot. Now, can Wilmot close in on Harry Cockle? Harry Cockle in blue in front of him, running in third place. You can see his brother Ed is away in the distance at the moment after that great start, getting away well from David Grady, who dropped back into fourth place. There is Matt Parr, who I think's got a bit of a problem because now he's got Nick Bowers all over the back of him, and Bowers coming down into the Dover Slope. He's having a look for fifth position. They're side by side. Parr's going to have the line as they come up into the Devil's Elbow. He's going to hang on to it, isn't he, I think, for the moment, but are we going to see a little bit more grunt from Bowers up the hill? Let's have a look. No, he hasn't quite got the same line that we saw from Andrew Wilmot, who dives down the inside of Harry Cockle. Can't quite get the room there, but he places the car very well coming out of the hairpin. Here we go, back to this scrap. Ian Wilson in the white car, currently leading the Veterans Cup. And he's got ahead of Nick Bowers, and he's going to take the battle now to Matt Parr and see whether he can have a go and get past. But ahead of him, still this scrap on between Harry Cockle and Andrew Wilmot. These two very much hard at it. Wilmot running in, I think, about 8th position in the championship. Moved up from Class A and B, of course, in previous seasons where he was a little bit of a star runner. And here is this battle again. Ian Wilson having a look. He's got the outside line. If he can hang on here, he's going to, you look at that. He carried a bit more momentum around the corner, makes the move. Matt Parr drops another place, and now Nick Bowers is going to have another go. Bowers taking the wide sweeping racing line into North Bend, and then down the hill they come, almost reminiscent, of course, of that other hairpin corner in Kent at Druids at Brands Hatch, the North Bend. Paddock Hill at Lyddon Circuit, of course, after that hairpin rather than before, as we've got at Brands Hatch. But here they come along Canterbury Straight. Matt PARR, let's hope it's not the curse of the onboard camera, but he's chopping away from Ian Wilson at the moment. Andrew Wilmot ahead of him, still trying to pick off a couple of places up front. So David Grady still running in second position. Ed Cockle in lead position at the moment, and you can see there is a challenge on. Wilmot's challenging Harry Cockle in the distance as they go up into the hairpin. He looks round at the outside line. He's now chipped back onto the inside, and Matt PARR will be wishing that he had the power to be able to get on par with those. He goes wide as they come down from North Bend, and looking up the inside now is Nick Bowers. Bowers looking down the inside as they come into Paddock. Can he get through? No, he can't. Well, he was having a very, very good look there. We're going back to the battle for third position, which is now a three-way scrap as Cockle goes wide and coming up the inside. Now he's going to... and he's through. Andrew Wilmot's through. Ian Wilson's through as well. So is Cockle having problems with his car? Harry Cockle losing 2 places in one corner. Very uncharacteristic for Cockle.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
Nick Bowers is back up on the inside in the 51 machine. Langridge is going to go down on the inside as they come out of North Bend. They're heading down the hill again. Down Hairy Hill. Langridge on the inside in car number 7. Bowers on the outside is going to take the faster line into Paddock and hangs on to position. What a great race that we've got between these four. This is superb action from Class C. Down into Pilgrims they go again. Matt PARR seems to have levelled out in terms of performance as Langridge goes on the outside of Bowers and dives through on the inside of PARR. Fantastic racing from him, but let's go back up and look at David Grady in second position. Andrew Wilmot's now caught him, so too has Ian Wilson. So it's a three-way scrap for second position, and it's Wilmot down the inside. Surely he's got the line into Paddock. We saw a wide sweep on the outside from the previous car. It shows you there's more than one line around here, but Wilmot makes it stick. Andrew Wilmot into second position, fastest man on the circuit he is, and he's catching the race leader. Well, where is the race leader? It's Ed Cockle, the white car, going out of shot. Wilmot second, David Grady down to third. Ian Wilson, great drive from him in fourth position at the moment, pops the car up the inside, and Wilson's through into third. Wilson's into a podium position. Fantastic racing. Ian Wilson, car number 10. Look at the line he takes, a wide line there at the Devil's Elbow. That's going to help him, I think, carry a little bit more momentum up the hill. He's chasing after Andrew Wilmot. Whether he'll be able to catch... Look at Wilmot as gaining hand over fist on the race leader Ed Cockle, who's still there and had a huge lead at the halfway stage of the race, and that's been whittled down. Andrew Wilmot, well, started fourth on the grid. He was way back. It's been a brilliant race from Wilmot, and is he going to be able to put in a challenge for lead position as we go back to the John Langridge, Nick Bowers dice. Matt PARR in front of them. Look how Langridge is using all of that runoff as they come out of North Bend, down Hairy Hill, into Paddock Hill Bend they go. You've really got to come and stand and watch that. But we've got a battle for the lead. The race leader, Ed Cockle's being challenged here by Andrew Wilmot, who looks round the outside as they come up the Devil's Elbow, round Devil's Elbow, I should say. Ian Wilson's in the mix as well. And who's Ian Wilson going to follow? Maybe the inside line's going to be quicker here. He's half a length back. He decides to go for the racing line. Wilmot round the outside. This is for the lead. This is incredible. 3 cars dicing. Wilson tries to get the run, but Wilmot's got the outside line here. Is he going to carry the momentum? No, he doesn't. Ed Cockle hangs on to it, the inside line. The HE Racing car maintains lead position. This is absolutely superb stuff. And Wilson's coming through. Wilson into second position. Little bit of trading of paint there, I think, from Ian Wilson. It wasn't unfair at all, and Ian Wilson's up into second position. Down into third goes Andrew Wilmot, who takes a wide line. Wilmot was, well, I think might have even had his nose in front for the lead at one stage, but Wilson's coming through now. Ian Wilson looking for lead position, outside line as they come into Devil's Elbow, and he's through. Wilson's got the lead. Magnificent stuff. The WDE Motorsport prepared car takes the lead. Ed Cockerill down into second position, Andrew Wilmot in third. These guys having an absolutely superb scrap. So out of North Bend, there's David Grady in fourth position. Here comes Wilmot looking down the inside again. Wilmot up into second position at the expense now of Ed Cockerill, who's down to third. David Grady still behind him. Remember, Ed Cockerill second in the championship, and he'll be looking to, the main thing he needs to do is take points away wherever possible from David Grady. Grady, as I mentioned at the top of the programme, is in with a shout of coming away as champion from this round, and we'll have to say provisional champion, of course, because all of these things need to be verified and ratified. That's what my friends used to say when he issued his championship fixtures. He used to say the calendar is provisional until the results are run, and then the results are provisional, which is probably a good way of looking at things in motorsport. But now David Grady back in fourth position, and Ian Wilson, superb stuff. Really, really good to see the number 10 car in lead position. Andrew Wilmot in second, Ed Cockerill in third. Things looking relatively settled. Are we going to see an Ian Wilson win? At the moment, you've got to say he's getting away around Pilgrims into Chesson's Drift, and then down the Dover slope they go once again. Next corner is going to be the Devil's Elbow, and this tight circuit really suiting Ian Wilson. What a great performance from Ian, qualified down in 10th place. Now, where do you see people coming through from 10th position in national motor racing? You see it here in the Ford Fiesta Championship. It's such a level playing field, and Wilson really shown. Look at this battle that we got going on down the order. This is amazing stuff. Cliff Pellin at the back. Great to see the black 62 car. Nick Bowers in front. Then it's Matt Parr, followed by Al Daly, and up the inside goes Joanne Eason, the lady racer. Superb stuff from Joanne Eason, right in the mix as well. This is the view from David Abbott, and Cliff Pellin looking around the outside line. David Abbott's following him. I tell you what, that's probably a good move. Abbott really does know how to drive these cars, knows this circuit as well. And that wide line really, I thought it was going to pay off for him, but down the inside goes Al Daly. So Daly makes up the position. Those guys all dicing for sixth position. Nick Bowers at the moment is at the head of the stack that we've got there. In fact, I think it's 7th position on the road, because I forgot about John Langridge that we've got in front of them. And here comes David Abbott down the inside of Al Daly. It's going to be the outside as they come down towards Devil's Elbow. Is he going to be able to secure the line as they come in? That's the pair there, the silver car on the outside. David Abbott does see the position. Al Daly moves back ahead of David Abbott. Those two having a great race, but Ian Wilson, of course, leading the race overall and the Veterans Cup as Cliff Pellin continues to put pressure on Nick Bowers. Bowers runs wide as they come down out of the hairpin. Down the hill they go. Pellin's going to make up position here. Yes, he is. He's through. Cliff Pellin started 13th on the grid. Look at last on the grid. Look at the number of cars that he's passed. Joanne Eason having a superb race as well. The quality of driving, I've got to say, this weekend, the quality of drivers that we've got in this field is exceptional. We've got great drivers all the way through the field, very evenly matched on times. Barely a couple of seconds in qualifying, and it's much, much tighter than that in terms of the race times that we're seeing. So Al Daly now trying to get on terms with the car in front, and Cliff Pellin we can see John Langridge just going round the hairpin ahead of this battle, but Matt Parr, who started off so well and has found himself slipped down the order. Daly and Abbott still at it. It's Graham Field down behind them in the orange 13 car. We go back on board with David Abbott. He's going to look at Al Daly here. He come along Canterbury Straight, looks up the inside as Daly's seen him. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze as they come into Pilgrims, and Daly just about hangs onto it. Matt Parr in front of them. David Abbott's going to take a wide line here and maybe get a sweeper down the Dover slope back towards the Devil's Elbow. Through Dover slope they go, and Matt Parr leaves the door open, or does he? There wasn't quite room for Al Daly. He was a little bit too far back. I thought he might have maybe gone for a lunge down the inside. I'm wondering if Matt PARR picked up a bit of damage from that contact that we had earlier on lap 2 of the race, as Ed Cockle goes through still in second position. And we've got a new race leader. It's Andrew Wilmot leading. Andrew Wilmot leads. Now what's happened to Ian Wilson? Wilson's dropped back and it's Andrew Wilmot leading. Up the hill for the last time. Into North Bend. Andrew Wilmot's going to take a win here at Lyddon Circuit. Well, we better not speak too soon because this race has been absolutely unpredictable. Wilmot goes through. Where's Ed Cocker? Well, let's see if we can have a look back of shot, but Wilmot is down through paddock for the last time, and he's about 4 seconds clear at the moment of Ed Cockle. There is the checkered flag for Andrew Wilmot. He is going to be absolutely delighted with that. There is Ed Cockle in second, followed by the light blue car of David Grady. Keep your eyes open for the white car in fourth position of Ian Wilson. Well, we wait for Ian to come through. It's a long gap. In fact, it's John Langridge who appears next. Cliff Pellin trying to catch Ian Wilson and not quite doing it. Joanne Eason is going to come through across the line in 7th place. Nick Bowers in 8th from David Abbott, then Al Daly, Matt PARR, Graham Field and Harry Cockle. But I can tell you that in the official results, car number 7 on his debut in Class C, John Langridge, excluded from the result due to driving standards, clearly something that wasn't seen on camera. And Andrew Wilmot takes the win from Ed Cockle. David Grady in 3rd, Ian Wilson 4th in the end from Cliff Pellin, and Joanne Eason a superb result in the top 6. 7th place Nick Bowers, then David Abbott and Al Daly 9th, Matt PARR in 10th from Graham Field, and Harry Cockle in 12th place.
I'm here with winner Andy Wilmot. How are you feeling? That was a bit of a surprise win for you.
Yeah, a very surprise win for me. This weekend was just like going to be a budget race for me, just towards the end of the season, running a bit low. And it just wasn't meant to end like this, but it's great. It's the best scenario I could possibly imagine. So,
well, congratulations. How did the race start for you? Talk us through.
It was all about tyre choice to begin with. There was a lot of mixed tyre choices out there. There was guys going out on full wet setup, and then you've got like slicks at the front, wets at the back. And my team that I'm totally thankful for this weekend, Meridian Motorsport, Lee Brett made the choice to put slicks on the front, and I weren't too keen on it, but he said just warm them up, and on the I just made the most of warming them up on the warm-up lap, and it seemed to work. I had a bit of an awful start really. I lost quite a few positions, and then sort of broke through the pack. Must say a few drivers held their own, but it was clean overtaking, handshakes going on after the race, so I think everyone's pretty happy, so I'm definitely happy.
Yeah, you look very happy. Well done, Andy, well done.
Thank
indeed.
You.
So I'm joined now by David Grady. Hello David, well done. How are you feeling about the result there with the race?
Well, it's probably not my best result this season, but it was enough to do what I set out to do this meeting, and that was to clinch the championship. So it's good that I've been able to see that through, and I'm now the 2011 Ford Fiesta champion, so I'm really pleased.
I bet you are. That's brilliant. So talking about today's race then, I mean, what do you think? Could you have done anything differently looking back now?
I didn't get the best of starts. That was the first problem. And the race settled down after the first few laps, and I was in 4th, and then the 2 guys ahead of me had a bit of a tangle, which got me into 2nd. And I thought that was where I was going to finish, but then the two guys on dries were coming up fast, and there was really nothing I could do. I had to sort of let them go, and 3rd was the best I could do, unfortunately.
The club, an amateur racer. Here at Go Racing TV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Welcome back to Lyddon Hill. We're getting ready for round 14 of the competition car insurance Dunlop Ford Fiesta Championship for 2011. Pole position is Andrew Wilmot, race 1 winner, with Ed Cockle alongside. Then it's David Grady and Ian Wilson. Cliff Pellin and Joanne Eason on row 3. 4th row of the grid, Nick Bowers and David Abbott. Then it's Al Daly and Matthew Parr. Graham Field and Harry Cockle on the 6th row of the grid. And row 7, the last runner after the exclusion from race 1, is John Langridge. So Harry Cockle with a fair bit of work to do from 12th on the grid. He dropped further back as the race went on. Hopefully his problems will have been sorted out, and we'll maybe see him make a charge from the back of the field in this one. Same too from John Langridge there in the red and black machine, who is the, as I mentioned in the first part of the programme, the Class A champion for this year. Still a pretty good dice going on for second place in Class A between Nick Tyle and David Elson. But we're here to talk about Class C today. The Fiesta ST class. Lights out, and looks like a good start from Ian Wilson from the second row, but it's Andrew Wilmot that leads away. Ed Cockle in second position around the outside. Is Ed going to get a little bit more of a run? I think he carried a bit too much speed down into Pilgrim's, got a little bit crossed up maybe. Graham Field in the orange car about to be passed by John Langridge, but now Ed Cockle, great run around the outside, and he's hanging on to it. He's going to grab the line down into the Devil's Elbow for the first time at too much speed. David Grady gets it all sideways as well. Down behind them, a cracking start from David Abbott in car 3, who is up into 5th position, being challenged by Matt Parr, who seems to have had a better start this time. Nick Bowers, Al Daly, Graham Field, with at the back still at the moment John Langridge in red. But Ed Cockle really got away well there. And while he's having that was in second. Sorry, it's Matt Parr, isn't it? No, beg your pardon. Ian Wilson having the wild moment there, and Ed Cockle looking up the inside. So Ed needs to probably calm things down a little bit. Ian Wilson down from second position into 4th, and David Grady up into 3rd. So David Grady up into 3rd place. David still trying to maximise the point advantage over Ed Cockle, who runs 2nd in the championship. Andrew Wilmot well placed here to perhaps take a double win, but the Lyddon rounds tend to be a little bit unpredictable, as we saw in the first race. So where you start doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to finish, because these are long races, very tiring for the drivers to complete. We got through 24 laps in 20 minutes in the first race of the day. This is the view from the championship leader, David Grady, the Leicestershire man, in 3rd position, chasing after Ed Cockle at the moment. The Unitech Motorsport prepared car took 5 wins, 9 fastest laps in 2010, and of course wants to secure the championship this weekend. Of course, Grady well known from Formula Ford, and you can't help wondering whether he's going to make this the start of perhaps a move towards touring cars, which is what most of the drivers would want to aspire to do, as Matt Parr looks up the inside of Ian Wilson, who takes a very, very wide line there. And Wilson's now got this Veterans Cup challenger right behind him. That's the number 3 car, the silver car of David Abbott. So those two obviously pretty evenly matched in this race, as we go on board with Harry Cockle trying to work his way through from the back of the field after being the last finisher in the first one. He's made up quite a bit of progress already, because you can see he's got on the back of David Abbott here. So Harry Cockle's got the HE Motorsport car sorted out, I think, from race 1, and in race 1 it was a full back through the field, and in this one the total reverse. So he tries to work his way through, but at the moment he can't seem to do anything to outfox David Abbott, although I think he might have a look down the inside. No, thinks better of it, makes the decision that he's going to take the racing line around North Bend, and then down the hill. The car we were going on board with is the blue car with the orange stripes on. That's our onboard from that particular shot, with Cliff Pellin down behind him in the black car, and the Wise Owl number plate telling us that that's David Abbott. Here comes Cockle down the inside on the brakes. That was a very good manoeuvre from Harry Cockle. That was, you can see the experience from karting there. What an opportune manoeuvre from Harry Cockle. And he's on a little bit of a climb. Ian Wilson's going to be the man that he now needs to chase, the number 10 car, the WDE Motorsport prepared car in front of him. Wilson, who led absolutely handsomely race 1 before dropping back down the order in the later stages. So back out front, Andrew Wilmot leading, Ed Cockhill in second place, David Grady third, then it's Matt PARR who's come through from 10th on the grid. So Matt PARR's had a really good opening lap and got up into fourth position. Whatever maladies were going on with some of the front runners in the early stages seem to have been sorted out. David Grady not perhaps looking as sharp as he has done in the previous rounds, but still running in third place, and Ed Cockhill in front of him, Andrew Wilmot down behind him. So Ed Cockhill through Devil's Elbow, climbing up the hill again towards North Bend. It's really with a shorter lap here, it's a much changed discipline to some of the longer circuits that you go to, because it's you get a repeat of corners so often here. I mean, the cars are lapping in this race in the 48-second bracket, so concentration needed right the way round, and it's still Andrew Wilmot in front at the moment. Wilmot in the 21 machine. Local circuit for him, not quite as local as Brands Hatch, because he comes from Dartford in Kent. And now the pressure is on Harry Cockhill, so you can see us caught up with Ian Wilson. Side by side they go, and Cockhill round the outside, expert driving from him. That converts to the inside line at Devil's Elbow, and Harry Cockhill, great manoeuvre from him, now ahead of Ian Wilson. David Abbott trying to chase. Wilson's going to have a little nibble back at the inside as they come into North Bend, but that doesn't work for him. Matt PARR is the next car that Harry Cockhill is going to have to try and chase down. I think Matt running in fourth position at the moment, so we'll get confirmation of that as they go through paddock. Cliff Pellin still chasing Nick Bowers, black car chasing green, but up front Andrew Wilmot still there. Ed Cockhill in second position, David Grady in third, and then Matt PARR back in fourth position, which also of course mirrors his championship position coming into this meeting, and he doesn't seem to be able to do anything about the three cars in front at the moment. All he can do is just try and maintain that gap and maybe not fall into the clutches of Harry Cockhill, who's now into fifth position, but some considerable way back at the moment. But as we saw in race one, it is possible around Lyddon, if you've got the car running right and the driver's head in gear, that you can close in. Ed Cockhill then second position, putting the pressure on Andrew Wilmot. Wilmot taking the race one win. He'd love to make it a double, but Cockhill will be keen to try and take that away from him, but he's going to be in two minds as to what to do here. At the moment he's very much on the offensive, but he'll be aware of championship leader David Grady right behind him. Looks to the outside line here. So many different lines that you can work here at Lyddon. If you get the inside for Devil's Elbow, that's clearly an advantage there, but then it's the outside for the next corner. This is the view from championship leader Grady. What's he going to do at the moment? He just seems to be watching. Wide line into the hairpin, and then it's the long run down Hairy Hill towards Paddock Bend. The long sweeping right-hander. They'll come out, just go a little bit over the white lines that you've got there. No pit lane as such here at Lyddon Circuit, although you can leave the track on the way down Hairy Hill, and you might have seen the white marker lines that are there. Into Pilgrims, through into Chesson's Drift, and then down onto Dover Slope we go again. But Andrew Wilmot still coming under pressure from Ed Cockhill. Now what's Ed going to do? At the moment he's just biding his time, takes the wide racing line into Devil's Elbow rather than go for the lunge up the inside. Still got David Grady and Matt PARR. Just trying to work out whether Matt PARR's losing ground or not at the moment. He's still there or thereabouts in fourth position. If these three start squabbling, they're going to slow each other up, and that's going to mean that Matt PARR will be able to catch up with them. In fact, Matt PARR's just recorded the fastest lap of the race, 48.761. Just past half distance on this one, and Ed Cockhill trying again to close in. I think he's going to either have to settle second place here, or maybe do something a little bit brave, and well, it ain't going to be this lap as they go down into the Devil's Elbow, because Andrew Wilmot is still there from Cockhill. Predominantly we've got a lot of southern-based drivers here, but then of course we've got the Midlander David Grady who comes in the mix. Cockhill this side goes wide. Now is that something broken on the car? Yes, it is. It looked like the right front wheel. Something's happened there, and Cockhill is going to be absolutely furious about that. And that leaves Andrew Wilmot in the lead now from David Grady. Is Cockhill going to be able to move the car from there? That's the question. He's, I think, waiting for the field to go. The marshals will certainly recover the car. But that leaves Andrew Wilmot now leading the race from David Grady in second position. And Matt Parr up into third. Harry Cockhill, who finished last in the first race, is now up into fourth position. We just saw him flash through shot there. Stationary yellow on the marshal's post tells the drivers that Ed Cockhill's car is still there. There'll be waved yellows and no overtaking up the hill for sure. We'll have a look and see whether we can spot whether Ed's car has been moved or not, but the car is still there. Now the options are, of course, to stop the race if it's in a particularly dangerous position, but David Grady now feels that he's got the chance of having a go at Andrew Wilmot, who leads, and Grady comes offline, has a look. Now, of course, they've probably been trying this lap on lap, but we haven't seen too much of Grady's on board.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natcher, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past. And of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs. And it was spectacular stuff.
Now, Go Racing TV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
And we're going to go back and have a look for the battle for the lead. It's the man from Kent, Andrew Wilmot, still leading from David Grady in second position. Grady's looking pretty handy at the moment. I've got to say, he seems to be glued to the rear spoiler of the 24 car, and he's certainly putting pressure on him. So I'm wondering whether we're going to see the Unitech Motorsport car put in a challenge. Matt Parr still running in third place. Harry Cockhill's closing on Matt Parr for third position, so Cockhill family honours with the man who's third in the championship at the moment. And David Grady, as I say, I wonder if he's worked out the maths in his head. I'm sure the drivers pore over every statistic they can, points wise, and Grady will know that, or perhaps know that if he takes the lead here, that will give him an extra point, an extra 2 points. If he can get fastest lap as well, which is currently with Matt Parr, that will be an extra 3 points. But at the moment, he needs to get into the lead to provisionally sew up the championship in this race, by my calculations. With Ed Cockhill second in the championship. On drop scores, I think that's going to be by 9 points if things stay the way they are, from his brother Harry, who is currently running in fourth position. So Ed should stay in second position despite that DNF. Up into North Bend they go, and the closing stages of the race beginning to approach as we go back to the Ian Wilson Cliff Pelly battle. This is for 7th place. Ahead of them is Nick Bowers. Cliff Pellin, of course, took 5th place in race number 1, so good point scoring for him this weekend. Back to the battle for the lead, and there's a move from Grady. The Unitech car dives down the inside. What a superb move, but does he go too far on the exit of the corner? They're side by side as they climb up Hairy Hill. They're still side by side, but Grady surely is going to have the line into the hairpin. Remember, you can't pass around the hairpin because there are yellows there because of that car on the outside, and Grady knew, he read that absolutely superbly. And tell you what, Wilmot's going to be kicking himself, well, metaphorically, because he needs to get back on the case and see whether he can repass David Grady, who's got the lead. So the championship leader through into lead position, and by my calculations, provisional champion here if he can maintain the lead, if he can get fastest lap as well, because he's got clear circuit now too. So is Grady going to be able to get a fastest lap and stick another point on? At the moment it'll be 37 points clear with 36 available, and I have to stress the provisional because there are all sorts of things that you have to bear in mind in terms of scrutineering, but it looks to me like David Grady could be on to provisionally celebrate the championship here. Wilmot's still in second, and he's had a lap now back in second position after a win in race 1, but look, we've got a scrap on for third position as well. Harry Cockle, I don't think he's a further 10 points down in the championship, so I don't think Harry Cockle at the moment it's going to make a difference in terms of the points for David Grady. If Harry Cockle gets up to third, he'll try and do it for sure, because he needs to get on par with his brother Ed in championship points, because they're still vying for second place, and that will continue to Brands Hatch in a few weeks time. But this is the view from Harry challenging for third. Look at that, Andrew Wilmot in front. He's 3 or 4 lengths down at the moment. This is the view, 4th place car, Matt Parr in the championship, 3rd in the race. Look how Matt Parr is right on the limit with that machine as he comes out of Devil's Elbow, up the hill once again, past the stricken car, and Cockle looks up the inside. His brother's car stricken on the outside, everybody knows it's there, so that shouldn't cause too much of a problem for the racers at this stage of the race. Down Hairy Hill, into Paddock Hill, past the Armco on the outside. Really, if you carry too much momentum, you wind up in the tyres there. I've seen many a driver come unstuck here at Lyddon by hitting those tyres on the outside of Paddock. It can really punish a car. You're getting a great view here from Harry Cockle. We've seen some great manoeuvres from him in this race, and he's got the car up into 4th position. Would have been 5th but for his brother's breakage. Here they come then, down Dover Slope once again. The battle for third, the closest one on circuit at the moment. That's why we're staying on it. Matt Parr in third after his problems in race 1. I think he's going to be well chuffed with a podium, but he's got Harry Cockle all over the back of him. Cockle jigs to the inside, then back to the outside line. I think the flags have gone in, haven't they? Druids just trying to check a marshal's post, so it might be an overtake on here, and Harry Cockle's looking for the inside line. It doesn't quite work. He didn't get enough momentum coming down from North Bend, and he's now looking for more momentum by taking the wide line into Paddock. Matt Parr having to go a little bit defensive. Superb scrap between these two. This is mini touring car racing at its best. Cockle got his nose in front there, but Matt Parr's got the line. He's got the line as they go into Pilgrims, round through Jesson's Drift. Closing stages of the race, and Matt Parr is being worked exceedingly hard here for a potential podium, down into where we've seen a good couple of passes here this weekend. This is where the two were scrapping earlier on, of course. In race 1 had a little bit of contact, and Harry Cockle will be mindful of that, but it's Matt Parr that hangs on to it. Brake lights on as they go into North Bend again. These two scrapping for sure, I think means that they won't be able to catch Andrew Wilmot. I wonder if Wilmot's tyres are going off. He seems to be dropping away from David Grady. Let's look at the lap times. Grady still can't get fastest lap of the race. That is with Matt Parr, and as you can see, the leaders now onto their last lap. The 20 minutes is up. It's been a great 20 minutes of action. We've had 2 superb races here at Lyddon, but it ain't over yet because we got the scrap on for third place. Parr's hanging on to it. Cockle's all over him. Looks to the inside line here now. Can he get a run down and maintain the outside line around Devil's Elbow? I don't think he's far enough up to do that. No, he isn't. So, has Matt Parr done enough to hang on to it? Matt Parr goes through. The driver of the 33 machine, the man from Horsham in Sussex, the Future Webs country cooling machine, is going to hang on to third. But the race winner is going to be, again, David Grady. A good fight back flag from Grady in this race. He's going to provisionally take the championship. There is the checkered flag for Grady, who takes the win. Second position, Andrew Wilmot. Who's going to get third? Look, it's still close. Here comes Cockle, but just hanging on is Matt PARR. A podium for Matt PARR. Fourth position for Harry Cockle. David Abbott's going to win the scrap behind them. David Abbott's going to come through as top veteran, and he's just got through ahead of Nick Bowers. You can see the silver car right of shot beating the green machine of Nick Bowers. Then it's Ian Wilson who comes home second in the veterans ahead of Cliff Bellin. He finishes 8th. Al Daly in 9th place behind them. John Langridge has got past Joanne Eason. Langridge up into 10th. Joanne Eason comes home in 11th position, and I think the finishers concluded with Graham Field in 12th position, who'll pick up some Veteran Cup points. But there is David Grady. Congratulations to the provisional champion for this year, who does it by my reckoning on 1 point at this round. David Grady then takes the win. Andrew Wilmot second from Matt PARR. Harry Cockle in 4th from David Abbott, and Nick Bowers in 6th place. 7th position goes to Ian Wilson from Cliff Bellin. Then it's Al Daly in 9th and John Langridge 10th. Joanne Eason 11th and Graham Field in 12th. With Andrew Wilmot getting the fastest lap of the race, that's a point that is denied the provisional champion. David Grady then, P1 with Ed and Harry Cockle second and third. Matt PARR still in 4th and in with a shout of dicing with the Cockle brothers. Matt Foley 5th and Andrew Wilmot in 6th position. They'll be looking to climb further up at Brands. 7th in the championship is Nick Bowers. Then Ashley Sutton from Lee Napolitano. Top veteran David Abbott in 10th position. 11th is Mike Bushell, and in 12th place Jason Cooper.
So championship winner David Grady joins me once again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you very, very pleased?
Absolutely ecstatic. It's what a way to end the season really with another win, my 9th win of the season. Absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have asked more.
You do seem very calm though, so that's nice. Nice sign.
Well, to get the most out of Fiesta, I think you have to be a calm driver. So I don't mind you saying that.
It's part of your personality to be nice and calm. So tell us about the rest of the race then for everybody else, because again it's that sort of interchangeable weather. You did really well, but we saw a bit of unfortunate action there for Cockhill, didn't we?
Yeah, well the race had a slow start, and we all sort of tucked in behind each other, and it was sort of a procession for a long while in the race, and then Ed was unfortunate enough to have a tyre explosion. I think that sort of happened to him at the hairpin, and he had to retire, unfortunately for him. And then it left me free to battle with Andrew Wilmot, and I saw an opening coming into I think it's the Devil's Elbow. I'm not quite sure of the names of the corners, but I just braked as late as he could in a Ford Fiesta, and Andrew was kind enough to just sort of leave just enough racing room for me to sort of put my Fiesta there, and that was it really for the race. It was just a case of ticking off the laps and making sure I didn't make any stupid mistakes.
So Andy, congratulations, a first and a second in one day. You must be pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, very happy with that. Very happy.
Now, you were quite surprised on the first race that you actually came first, and just now you've come second. It was a bit of a battle there with Grady, wasn't it, at the end? I mean, were you surprised at getting cut second?
I was, to be honest. I just knew that if I got off the line, it was just a case of defending. I had Edward Cockhill behind me, and to be honest, I thought it was going to be a little bit more rough than it was. But to be honest, it was fair racing out there. It was just a case of defending. Unfortunately, he had a problem with his car.
Yeah.
Come off the circuit, and then I had Dave Grady behind me. He overtook me down into the Devil's Elbow, which is the only left-hand turn. I was defending into it, but I just lost it at that point, and it's quite intimidating. David, championship winner in the mirror. I'm not used to seeing him in my mirror, to be honest. So, but I thought I did quite a good job out there. I was really pleased with the car and what Meridian Motorsport's done with it. Thanks to Bubble and Kick as well, who's set the car up as well in the previous races. But I'm really happy this weekend.
That's good.
Can't believe it.
You can tell.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see. So you must be able to sort of go home tonight feeling really good. And are you going to do the last two races?
Brands Hatch. Might try a different car for Brands Hatch, just to a newer car, newly built, just to see if I want to use that for next year, because I'll be doing it again next year.
Oh, that's good to know. Well done for today. Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
And we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, Andy.
Cheers.